Alright guys, it's 20 squared. New year, new me. You know how that all goes. So this is my last donut for 20 squared. I was trying to eat healthier, but donuts are so damn good. And I'm a big boy. Today, we're going to be going over 5 ways to help develop your own performance style. And I'm going to show you guys a cool little control to help you use as like a break-in. Alright, so let's just start that right now. I'm gonna wash my hands. Let's just go. So, you want to start performing, you want to start doing the gigs, and you want to start interacting with the peoples because you're tired of being in the basement, in the bathroom, working on the same old tricks over and over. I get it. The time has come to step your game up. So I'm going to give you some tips to help you work on something that you can bring forth. Now I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. This is not a catch-all. This is a progression. This is something you got to do for a while and you're going to keep doing throughout your whole career. So you got to think of it like a marathon, not a sprint. You know what I'm saying? So I think one of the first things to think about when you're going to start working on your like style or how you perform and stuff like that is that when you do perform something, do it with a purpose, right? Do it with an open mind and do it with the intention that you're going to try to consciously think about the things you want to improve. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do because when you get into performing, you kind of fall into this automatic cycle of doing things and you don't really think about it too much. So really, this first step is trying to get you to consciously take a step back after you perform or even while you're performing and think about what you're doing, what you're going to do, what tricks you're going to do. Sometimes I would go out with a very specific trick that I would want to work on and I would just do that. Or I would have like a joke or something like that. I just wanted to work on that. But I would go out there with that purpose. That was the point of me doing that trick or that whatever. I think the first important step is perform with purpose. All right, so the second thing that I think will really help you to pay attention to how you're developing or things you're working on is something like this. It's just a tiny little field pad. You know, you could get a bigger one if you want, but I used to use these. I got these kind of cheap. You can just throw them in your pocket or in your bag, and they're actually smaller than a deck of cards, so it doesn't really take up a lot of space. Once you're done, just start writing things that you think went wrong or went right, what you liked, what you didn't like, how the trick went. Maybe you should have stood this way, maybe you should have interacted this way. Whatever it is, just start writing it down. The more you start, or even in your notepad on your phone, right? Like take that out and start jotting down ideas, and it'll get you into the habit of constantly thinking about what it is you want to work on or what it is you are working on. I personally like these little pads more than my phone when I do it. It just feels like I'm consciously thinking more when I'm actually writing. But everybody's different and you do what works for you. All right, so the third thing, once you start writing things down, start making little changes. Try a different joke, try a different line, say it a different way, say it at a different time, try a different handling, try approaching people differently, or try introducing the effect differently, or whatever it is. Start making little tweaks. When you start doing this, you can't do it just once. You gotta like trial run it for like 20-30 times before you can really understand if the changes are worth being made. I don't like to blame the audience, but maybe you don't vibe with somebody a certain way, you know what I mean? You don't like the way you approach them, or there's something about you they don't like. Not everybody likes everybody, and you can't take it personal. So when you start making these little changes, do it for a while and then write down, you know, what you thought happened or how you thought it was received as you start making those changes. And this leads right into my fourth thing, which is give it time. Whatever you decide to change, you have to give it some time. You have to give it time for yourself to get used to doing it. Give time to the outcomes of things, how people interact with you and how you interact with people with these changes. Give it time. Nothing is going to happen overnight. You have to chill, take a step back, and just give it some time, give it some trial run before you just decide, you know what? I did it once and it didn't work. I don't think anything will work that way. you have to give it some time. All right, and the fifth step is to never stop doing it, right? Like, you want to keep going with it. Just because you started this process and you're kind of happy with something, that doesn't mean that it can't get better. It could get worse too, but that's the reason why you have to pay attention to what you're doing. And if you watch the other video where I'm talking about how to practice, they kind of roll together. You're not just doing one thing or just the other. You're just working on your presentational style or personality, or you're just practicing an effect. It's all together. If you don't know what the other video is, check out the link that I'll put up there, and it'll link you right to the video of the 5 things to help you practice more efficiently. Really just make this something you constantly do. It's never the end, and it can always get better. That's pretty much it. Now, the thing I'm going to show you how to do a cascade control. And the reason why is because I feel that this kind of control it's kind of technical. So it'll teach you, if you watch the last video where you practice, it'll teach you to not look at your hands. I also think this is a very attitude type control. So you do it in the mix of talking to people, and you don't really want to bring attention to it. Although you could, but that's not the point. So I really wanted to show you guys this control, which is my handling of the Charlie Miller Cascade Control. Let's just get into it right now and have some fun with my control. Peace out. All right, so we're going to be going over the Cascade Control. Now this is my version of it, my handling of the Cascade Control. I've gone over this before. I know Christian Engblom has something similar. So the first place I've ever heard of the Cascade Control, it was called the Invisible Shift, and that was in the Magic of Charles Earl Miller. So it was in that book. And then the Miller Cascade Control was written up in 1992 in Card Finesse 2. Okay, so you could look that up if you'd like to learn the original handling of the Charlie Miller Control or the Cascade Control. So let's get into the handling. The way I like to do this is from a peek usually. So I'll just kind of riffle back and let the spectator or whoever I'm performing for say stop. Alternatively, you can hold it like this, and then you can have them peek back and look at a card, and then you just throw your pinky in, and you're going to hold a pinky break below it. Okay? The important thing is that you have a break below the selection. So step 1, peek or let them peek, throw your pinky in. Now you're going to come from above, and you're going to hold it in this end grip, almost like you're doing the way I do the pass, which is like a 𝗙𝗛𝗟𝗡 type grip, like this. And it'll open up on the other side like that. So I'm basically just holding it with my index finger and thumb, and I pull down on the brake to separate it, and that opens up that gap right there. From there, now I'm going to expose this, you're going to push this card out, which is their selection. Once you do that, you're going to come and switch grips again. So you're going to squeeze the deck almost like you're going to do a waterfall flourish, you know, that thing, that whole jammy. Basically what you're going to do. So you riffle, you let them look at the card, you side jog the card, now you squeeze the deck. From here, your hand is going to come underneath your other hand, and your index finger and pinky are going to straddle that card. Okay? So while this is being squeezed, you're going to squeeze this card as well. And now you're just going to lift up. You see, it just stays there. So you lift up, and as you lift up, you're going to drop these cards, and it will stay on the other side. I'll try to do this from this angle so you might be able to see it a little bit better. So you pull, and then you let the cards fall off, and then you just let this one rest. Now I'm exaggerating it quite a bit so you could see what's happening. This is how it actually looks in full performance. Okay, it's not a big cascade, it's not a big flourish. I'll even show you from the back side. It looks really good. There's really nothing to see, and you can do it from pretty much any angle. So you riffle, let them peek a card. In this case, it's the 9 of diamonds. Hold a break, side jog the card, go into your waterfall flourish, and you're going to straddle the card that's side jogged. Now, you don't have to have it this far. I usually have it maybe about there. And then you're going to lift up and drop the cards in front of it, and then let everything relax and square up the deck. And that is the control. I like to do this kind of casually. You know, you'll see a lot of people, they like to bring a lot of attention to it, and I don't. I don't like this control as something you should be looking directly at. The way I like to do it is just take a look at the card, got it, don't forget it, and then I say something like a joke or whatever, and in that action I do the control, I come back, and now I move on with the rest of the effect. There's nothing else to really look at, so you just take a look, 3 of hearts, don't forget it, because if you forget it, you're gonna make me look pretty dumb, and I don't want to look dumb. So, and it's just a nothing moment. It's something where it doesn't really matter that it's happening, because it's not supposed to be something important. Now you can control this maybe second from the top also, and as you cascade, you're just going to hold back 1 card, let the card underneath it coalesce, and then drop the top card. Say the 5 of hearts. So the 5 of hearts, you straddle, cascade, hold back 1 card, let it fall, and then drop the top card. It takes a little bit more timing to do, a little bit more practice, but you can get it. And that's about it. So use that to help practice some like techniques that you're talking with people and interacting with them and doing these moves as you're talking. Not something that you're gonna bring attention to and make them look at as you're doing that move. And also, by the way, if you want to know, these are the gilded butterflies from my boy Andre. They're beautiful cards. I just wanted to use them because I haven't. So I hope you enjoy that. It's not a big tutorial, just a little move to help so you could have a little something to play with and practice with. But yeah, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell if you'd like to be notified of my next video, if that crap even works. Also, don't forget I have some merch. The links will be down below if you want that. And I'll see you guys the next time. Peace out.